Hey guys, Lateef here. Wanted to share with you a great way for roofing contractors to generate more and more appointments and get more sales. And one of the new things that I set out on was this REHASH program. And I can tell you the results. 1,400 old reach outs resulted in 200 appointments set. Hey, so if you're following along, you probably heard about the Rehash program. We got a lot of positive feedback. Basically, what it is where we go after your old customers, your old lists, all that money you spent already, people that weren't followed up on, and basically try to rekindle them. And we found a lot of success. Here's a live example we're looking at. And if you notice, there's 1,420 people in final attempt, 633. So basically 1,432 people that are going through this process right now. And if I run this filter, which is super cool, and I show this and I say, hey, we got 217 out of 1,432. What does that come out to? Let's go ahead and actually do that real quick. 217 divided by 1,432. 15% of our people, 15% of our people rekindled in some fashion by us doing this effort, right? So what we're going to do is walk you through how to build it, how to make it, right? So first thing that you're going to want to do is build your pipeline. How does that work? Very simple. So let me, I'm going to quickly save this real fast, and I'm going to move back into pipelines. Now to build a pipeline, now I was already testing this, so I have this built to save you guys some time, but let's go ahead and actually make sure you understand how to do it. You're going to go to pipeline, you're going to create, and I'm going to call this one demo, and you can create your stages here. So in our cases, they're pending, first attempt, and it looks like we should plug in, right? Second attempt, and third attempt. Don't worry about what shows up on your home screen. We'll get into that later, but you can go ahead and save that demo there, and boom, you have yourself a demo pipeline. If I go to pipelines and I go to my demo, there it is, right? Now I don't want that one, but not a big deal. So next, what we're going to do is go over our tools in Automagic, and we're going to build the actual automation. So what we're going to do is hit create workflow, continue with start from scratch, and we're going to get started. So I'm going to go ahead and call this, I already have another rehash, so I'm going to call this rehash 2, just to kind of walk you guys through it. I was going to pre-build this, but I feel like it's better if we do it together. So this is going to be a little lengthy, guys, but I'm going to show you what we're doing. Some of the things, some of the reasoning, I'll show you later why it's happening. So let's get started. First thing, we need something to make this thing go, the trigger, right? So we're going to use a contact tag as added, and we're going to add the tag added is, and we're going to look for rehash. And if it doesn't exist, we can always add a new tag, but we're just going to go ahead and use that because I already have that. If you don't have that, you're going to need to create it. Not a big deal. Just hit add tag. It'll be there instantly. So you're done with that. Now what we're going to do is, very first thing, I'm going to create an opportunity. So what I'm going to do is label this. I'm going to call this my pending op, right? So I'm going to pick which pipeline I want it in. So I'm going to use my rehash pipeline here. I'm going to go ahead and use pending as the status. Opportunity name, I'm going to go here, grab contact. I'm going to use the full name of the contact. So it'll say John Doe, for example. The source, let's just say I'm getting this all from my website. I can do that, or all from my CRM. I can do that. I'm going to leave it blank for the time being. Lead value, I can enter if I want to. I don't believe there's a value when you start. I believe the value comes later. So I'm going to leave that as 0 or blank. And I'm going to pick the open status. And this is where it's at. Now, because I'm not planning on putting anything else back in here and I don't want to repeat, I'm going to keep these two switches off. All right. So there's my pending op, and now we're ready. So that means that if somebody gets put in here, they're going to end up on my, if I tag them with rehash, they're going to be on my pending opportunity. The next thing that I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and put a wait, and I'm going to tell you later about this wait, but this has to do with synchronizing with your CRM. But for right now, I'm just going to put 1 day. So let's just go ahead and put that in there. And if you feel like it doesn't belong, don't worry, you can add it later. The very cool part about HighLevel and BUMS.AI, you can go up here and add a step above, you can move steps, you can do a lot of fancy things there, right? So let's create the next opportunity. So the next day, what we're going to do is we're going to update the op. And again, it was in rehash. We're going to move it to first attempt, and we're going to use the same name. Now, it's very important to use the same name. If you don't use the same name, it's not going to move that opportunity. It's going to create a little bit of a mess. So keep it like that. And again, I'm going to keep it the same way, and I'm going to save it. And what I'm going to do is now I'm going to create my first opportunity. So I'm going to go ahead here and explain instead of going down all the way. which I'll give you the tree. But what I want to do is just explain how each of these things work. So first thing I'm going to do is I want to send an email, right? So email, and who's it coming from? So you're going to want to be specific. So Kate from Boss Up Solutions, for example, right? Or you might want to use your username or whoever's sending it from email. I use kate.mail.bossupsolutions.com. One of the things I'm going to suggest to you guys, if you're sending emails from here and you plan on using it as a marketing tool, not so much as a correspondence tool, difference being marketing is, let's just say, over 1,000, and correspondence is just direct contact, right? So the idea here is like keep your email clean. Don't use Lateef at bossupsolutions.com. Use Lateef at mail.bossupsolutions.com. And there's a way to configure that. We'll get into that in a different video, but there's lots of stuff on the web about that that'll explain how to do it. Subject, you're going to want to keep it simple, but yet catchy enough. So we're like checking in, and then I'm going to use their first name, personal, right? Now, if I'm not sure what I want the content to be for my reach out, I went over here, ChatGPT, and you can see how it was asking some questions. I need a sample SMS, I need an email. So I'm just going to copy this email real quick and dump it in here. And basically what it's saying is, hi, John. I hope this email finds you well. Get rid of that right away. That immediately tells me this ChatGPT. It's Kate from ABC Exteriors checking in. I wanted to touch base, see if you're still interested in moving forward with the work on your home. Forward with, maybe I want to be your roofing project, right? Maybe I want to be a bit more specific. I remember a previous conversation about your project, and I believe we can create something different. I was speaking to my team about your project, and I believe we can do something amazing there. We can get this done for you without any headaches, right? So if you're ready to discuss the details or have any questions, feel free to reply call me at, and here where it says your number, ChatGPT came up with that. I'm going to want to go ahead and put in my account. I'm going to go into my phone number, right? Or I can hard code the number in there, right? Let's collaborate and turn your ideas into reality. Let's collaborate and take that old roof and replace it with a new high efficiency roofing system. Looking forward to hearing from you. Best regards, Kate. Okay, cool. Not a big deal. Just went through that. You guys can make that whatever. I would probably call this like email 1 just to know what it is. And what I'm going to do at the same time, I'm going to send out an SMS. So send SMS. What do I want to say? I went back to ChatGPT and I said, hey, what do I want to say? And give me a few different ideas. I believe this was the one that we liked. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to paste real quick. If you hit Command V on a Mac, you're going to get that formatting. If you hit Command Shift V, hey, Johnny, Kate here from ABC Contracting. Are you still up for discussing I'm going to change home to roofing project. Let's make it happen. All right. And I'm going to leave that. Now, one thing I want to tell you on that text that I don't like, let's connect and make it happen. I'm going to grab that out. I'm going to save that action. I'm going to turn this into another SMS. And what I'm going to do is put that in happen. Look forward to hearing from you. Period. Don't use over it. And I'm going to just put a small wait in here, just literally like 0.1 minutes. So there you go. So you can see I got this SMS going on. So this is SMS 1A. This is SMS 1B. And there's my messages, right? Now, we were able to send out an email. We were able to send out SMS. We figured out how to move an opportunity. We also ended up figuring out how to create weights. And we also created a trigger using a tag. So we've moved along pretty good. So congratulations if you followed along. You're doing pretty good. And you're going to be ready to rock with some of this stuff. So now what we're going to do is next, what we want to do is we're going to wait for a reply, right? But as I add this wait for a reply, think about what else we can do with HighLevel and BUMS.AI. So I want to wait for a reply to this step. And we're going to time out in 2 days, right? 2 days, I want a timeout. So I'm going to put that out there and I'm going to wait for 2 days. Wait for, and I like to put something more specific here. So I'm going to put up to 2 days, right? Helps me read through it. The more you label those, the better. I'm going to tell you as you get back to these and you've built automation, it gets very confusing. So on these automation processes, go ahead and label them so they make sense to you. Even make a short video using Loom, what I'm using here to record this. Make a Loom, explain what you're doing, explain what your mindset, your thought, because it will later on become a little challenging trying to figure out what you did and what you didn't do. So it's kind of good. And what I like to do with those videos, by the way, I go in here and I go into comments and I'll just staple that link right in here. All right. So kind of a cool way to save it and have it there. If you actually used our BUMS.AI, you'll see on our standard automations, I have a lot of videos that are actually placed right there for you guys. All right, so I'm gonna wait for up to 2 days. And what we're gonna do is we're waiting for a reply. Now, there's one thing that we didn't use yet. There's two more methods or a few more methods that we can contact somebody, right? So I could send you snail mail. I'm gonna let that be, but there is a way to automate that. I can create a task for someone to do something like go drive by this guy's house. I can also go ahead and drop a voicemail. So let's look at how we do a voice drop. Voice drops are very cool. Voice drops are very powerful. They are essentially here. You can drop a file in here after you record it. And basically what happens is your cell phone will go ahead and look like you have a missed call. And what it's gonna do is it's gonna call you. It's gonna go right to your voicemail. And the way it does this is it tricks your phone. It calls it like 18 times at once or whatever the number is. So your phone just pushes it right to voicemails, ignores the call, one missed call, but then you see a voicemail. Most of voicemails today transcribe, so you can make like a nice voicemail. And also then we can say, left you a voicemail. So I can go back here, hey, Kate from location area still tried calling you. Are you up? So see how I put that in there? Now what I want to do is I'm going to drop this voicemail right here, right? So right above it, I'm going to drop this voicemail. And because the voicemail takes a little bit, I'm going to use a voicemail one. I'm going to use a little action here. I'll show you in a second. What we're going to do is we're going to upload a file here, an audio file, and I'll show you how to do that in a second here. So I'm going to grab this audio file, and here it is.
Hi there, this is Kate from Boss Up Solutions. I'm reaching out to see if you are ready to get started regarding the roofing project we discussed. I'm going to drop you a text as well, if that is easier to communicate.
All right, so I did that. Now what I want to do, because that voicemail part, it does take a few seconds. What I'm going to do here, right after the email, I'm going to go ahead and wait. And I'm going to wait let's just wait half a minute, right? 0.5 minutes. And I'm going to wait 0.5 minutes, right? So what that's going to do for me is it's going to allow that voicemail to hit their inbox along with the text, just timing this thing out. And this is just experience of knowing how the system works. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send that out. And now I have my entire first touch set. Now, what we're gonna get into next, and I'll probably break this up in a few videos, but what we're gonna get into next is our if statement. And our if statement's super powerful. What we're gonna do is response. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a yes response. We're gonna do somebody who has a negative response. So I guess I have to do this. Contact reply intent is positive, so that's our yes. I'm going to do a no, and contact reply intent is negative. And then I'm going to add another branch. Actually, I'm not going to add that branch. Let's go ahead and delete that. I'm going to do that right there. So I'm going to save that. So we're going to have our positive, negative, and none, which means if it did not have the positive or the negative, this is where it's going to go, right? So we've set up our branches. We've set up everything, and we're going to move into now from this into our second phase. This is going to be where we take that first cascade that we built and start working on different operations. And those I'm going to get into in a different video because I feel like it's a long video, a long course. It is not that hard, guys. I'm going to tell you right now. It's just a little bit of extra work, and there's some other settings that you're going to want to go through and make sure. One of the most important ones, let's just go ahead and do some of these right now, is save. That is an important one. But another one you're going to want to do is I'm going to keep this time window here so I know what days and times it's going out on. I'm going to want it to go out Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And actually, I'm going to change that. I'm reaching out to people. I don't want to bother them that early. I'm going to do 9, but I'm going to go down to 6 p.m. All right. So I'm going to steal my hour back, right? And if you wanted to, you could put your default email froms and twos in here as well. I'm not going to do that right now. And make sure in the end that we turn this on. Now, if I want to test this workflow, pretty simple. I just hit test workflow. I'll drop it down, grab a person, and I would say run test. And then what it'll do is it'll go through and it'll kind of like show you that thing. So create a test user for yourself. You're going to get going. This is going to go ahead and create that opportunity. It's going to go ahead and wait. It's going to go ahead and create that opportunity again. Basically, it's shifting that opportunity over. We'll get into why I'm doing that later, but there is a reason. And what we're going to do is do our voicemail and our email. Boom, boom, they're gone. Email will probably hit first. Voicemail will hit second. And then we're going to get the other one. So you got your 1, 2, 3 punch, right? So it's going to be pretty cool how we get going with this. And what we're going to do is stop over here and we'll continue in the next session. So I appreciate you following. If you do like the content that we're providing, please go ahead and like and subscribe. It helps us understand what we're getting for feedback and who wants to listen, and when we're hitting a topic that maybe you guys want to learn about versus a topic that maybe we feel you want to know and you're like, no, we don't give a shit. So it really helps us understand. So I appreciate it. Thanks, and I'll talk to you soon.